One of the questions I get asked the most these days is when the world will be able to go back to the way things were in December before the coronavirus pandemic. My answer is always the same: when we have an almost perfect drug to treat COVID-19, or when almost every person on the planet has been vaccinated against coronavirus. The former is unlikely to happen anytime soon. We'd need a miracle treatment that was at least 95% effective to stop the outbreak. Most of the drug candidates right now are nowhere near that powerful. They could save a lot of lives, but they aren't enough to get us back to normal. Which leaves us with a vaccine. Humankind has never had a more urgent task than creating broad immunity for coronavirus. Realistically, if we're going to return to normal, we need to develop a safe, effective vaccine. We need to make billions of doses, we need to get them out to every part of the world, and we need all of this to happen as quickly as possible. That sounds daunting, because it is. Our foundation is the biggest funder of vaccines in the world, and this effort dwarfs anything we've ever worked on before. It's going to require a global cooperative effort like the world has never seen. But I know it'll get done. There's simply no alternative. Here's what you need to know about the race to create a COVID-19 vaccine. The world is creating this vaccine on a historically fast timeline. Dr. Anthony Fauci has said he thinks it'll take around 18 months to develop a coronavirus vaccine. I agree with him, though it could be as little as 9 months or as long as 2 years. Although 18 months might sound like a long time, this would be the fastest scientists have created a new vaccine. Development usually takes around 5 years. Once you pick a disease to target, you have to create the vaccine and test it on animals. Then you begin testing for safety and efficacy in humans. Safety and efficacy are the two most important goals for every vaccine. Safety is exactly what it sounds like. Is the vaccine safe to give to people? Some minor side effects, like a mild fever or injection site pain, can be acceptable, but you don't want to inoculate people with something that makes them sick. Efficacy measures how well the vaccine protects you from getting sick. Although you'd ideally want a vaccine to have 100% efficacy, many don't. For example, this year's flu vaccine is around 45% effective. To test for safety and efficacy, every vaccine goes through 3 phases of trials. Phase 1 is the safety trial. A small group of healthy volunteers gets the vaccine candidate. You try out different dosages to create the strongest immune response at the lowest effective dose without serious side effects. Once you've settled on a formula, you move on to Phase 2, which tells you how well the vaccine works in the people who are intended to get it. This time, hundreds of people get the vaccine. This cohort should include people of different ages and health statuses. Then, in Phase 3, you give it to thousands of people. This is usually the longest phase, because it occurs in what's called natural disease conditions. You introduce it to a large group of people who are likely already at the risk of infection by the target pathogen, and then wait and see if the vaccine reduces how many people get sick. After the vaccine passes all 3 trial phases, you start building the factories to manufacture it, and it gets submitted to the WHO and various government agencies for approval. This process works well for most vaccines, but the normal development timeline isn't good enough right now. Every day we can cut from this process will make a huge difference to the world in terms of saving lives and reducing trillions of dollars in economic damage.